Hey guys, my name is Master Swartwood, and today I'll go over expert staff spin techniques. And really, these are going to be a culmination of everything from before. So we're going to be using techniques that I showed you guys in the beginner, intermediate, and advanced staff spin technique videos. Make sure you check those out and get those down. You want to be proficient in those spins in order to make these things flow. So if you are feeling good about that and feel like you have a level of proficiency that will allow you to start tying these things together, let's get started. So we're just going to start with this basic spin here. And we're going to look at the main component of changing from forward to backwards. The biggest thing I did there is a body movement. So I'm pivoting around my right foot and adjusting my focus so that I keep the flow of the staff in the same direction. That's going to be key later on. The flow of the staff matters a ton, and the direction of your body matters a ton as well. This is going to allow you to position yourself for these transitions. So let's look at this one here. This is the first spin technique I showed you in the beginner video. I'm assuming you have this down, so I'm not going to explain how you do this, but at some point during the spin, you have the ability to take that as the top of your staff. So if I hold it like this, top, you're going to take the top of your staff and just transition right into this by pivoting your foot. Should be that easy if you have these down. The biggest thing you want to do is free your mind to flow between these techniques. Because if you get stuck on what you're doing here and feel like, oh, I have to use my left hand to help guide this over, not going to work. You have to think, I'm doing this now, I'm doing this now. They're very different techniques, but they flow together really well. Just like when you're doing this and flowing into this one, you're telling yourself, I'm no longer spinning it forward, I'm spinning it backwards. And then as you spin again, I'm no longer spinning it backwards, I'm spinning it forwards. Hopefully that makes sense. I want you guys to just mess around with that. These spins flow really well together. These basic ones are easy to start on, but then feel free to mix it up a little bit. So from here, what if I want to do a tornado? Right off the bat, get tired of that, decide I want to go behind the back, continue the spin. And then I get tired of that, maybe I want to do backwards and forwards. And then maybe I want to go to here, go into the helicopter spin. Behind the back, up around like this. There's a lot of fun things you can do with your staff spins. You just have to mess around with it. This isn't something I can necessarily teach you to do. It's more something I need to inspire you to figure it out on your own. Because I can show you how I do it, but you have to feel it for yourself and figure out what are the basics of these spins and how can I use these basics to make them flow together. How can I allow my body to relax so I don't get caught up on what I'm doing as I'm transitioning. You got to just feel it, get that flow down. Takes a lot of work, but I'm sure you'll get it. Just keep up the good work, practice a lot. That will help. And then once you get that, you can think about changing the flow of the staff, because everything I did there was actually keeping the staff going in the same direction. I was taking the top of the staff, moving it down that way. Even when I switch here, top of the staff is moving that way. Even when I'm doing it here, top of the staff that way. I think you get the idea. So how am I going to change that if I want to change the angle in which I'm doing this? Easy one to look at is going here, and as I'm spinning it, instead of bringing the top down to this side, what if I tell myself I want to bring it down behind me, and I want to move my feet so I have enough room to do that? You can then find a flow where you change direction. So see how the top is now going that way? Maybe I can do it again. Now I'm going behind. And then back to where I was before. One thing you'll notice is I'm using the other hand to help. It is really hard to have the flow going with one hand and then change it with that same hand. you want to be comfortable placing the other hand on here and helping guide it, because if I'm spinning fast and I try and do that, I need that hand to help get it in the right direction. Some people might be able to do it with one hand, especially if they're using a lighter staff, like something made out of foam or lighter wood, but this is hardwood, this is heavy, and I really don't want to strain my hand as I try and get it around. So feel comfortable using that other hand as you do these spins. See how I can just guide it like that? Maybe I want to shift it so it's going over my head and go into a strike. This isn't necessarily the most combat practical strike, but I am finishing with a strike out that direction. And then I can go back, start the spin up, but I'm spinning with the top going that direction now. So as you get familiar with these spins, you can be mindful of where the direction is flowing towards, like what direction it's flowing towards, and then change it to whatever you want. And that's going to be how you make these flow together, and then improvise and change direction. You can make a personal form with these. It's a lot of fun. So keep up the good work. Make sure you practice this a ton, because that's the only way you're going to be able to get this. These are hard techniques, it's hard to figure out the flow. So don't get discouraged, just keep working on it, and you'll get it eventually. This did not come to me overnight, and if it does for you, that's great, but I'm expecting that it's going to take a lot of self-discipline to get you through the bumps and get past the discouragement of not being able to get it right away. So you'll get it. You can refer to these videos if you need inspiration on how to figure it out for yourself, but this is on you now to take what you've learned from these videos and mesh it together in what fits you, what suits your style. That's just going to take some exploration. So keep up the good work, practice lots, you got this. And then one other thing I wanted to go over before I finish this video is a double staff spin. There's videos out there of people spinning 2 staffs at the same time, and seeing it can be a little daunting. It's like, how in the world do they spin these things without it colliding? And the answer is, you just look at the basics. So if I'm spinning one, and I am mindful of where my body is relative to the staff, which direction I'm facing, I can see how this motion is the same as this motion. Kind of. Not quite, but there is similarities. So I want to capitalize on those similarities. So I'll take the staff in each hand, and I'm going to say that this one is spinning this direction, top going that way. This one is spinning that direction, top going that way. And I'm going to dip them around just as if I was doing a normal one. That's gonna happen. It's okay. You then have to adjust, figure out where it's in the right place, and go from there. Once you get more comfortable, know where you're gonna start, it flows easier. And this is just the basic spin technique. Remember all those techniques I showed you? You can do a lot with the staff in each hand. Harder because you can't help control with the other hand, but you can still do everything I taught you before. I'm still personally working on that. So this is something we can explore together. And if you have ideas or cool videos of techniques you figure out along the way, please show me. I'd be happy to see those. And if you have any questions, I'd be happy to answer them. You're now at the point where you explore this on your own. So I'm passing the stick to you, so to speak. This is now on you to progress your training and to stay self-disciplined in your practice. Really think about the basics. Everything we talked about in the beginner video applies to what you're doing later on. So keep up on all of it and you'll do great. Thanks for watching, guys. Looking forward to showing you guys more techniques.